built on class, right?
Huh?
The 3 different nights are the same thing, not
No,
built on.
build on it.
Oh, it's built
Yeah,
on?
I'm not gonna teach
Okay.
all the same. I'm not.
Oh, it's the same.
I didn't know if you did
Yeah,
3
you have-
different
you
days, so
should
that
have two.
this parent can come this night, and this parent can come that night.
This one doesn't have one, so it can be recorded. How about that? I read this book. Okay, I listened to it on the audiobook.
Okay, so thanks for coming, everyone. Appreciate it. This night was a night. I didn't know what to expect. I wanted to get the 7 habits out to the community, and hopefully you guys can go out now and after this meeting and say, come on in and share and just help the community understand a little bit more. The flyers that you have on your chairs. You got the parent night handout and the parent's guide. These are just go look at it. There's some activities in the parent guide. There's some activities that you can do at home with the 7 habits. Talk with your kids about the 7 habits. Kind of utilize it as best you can. That's just for your sake. Alrighty. So tonight we're gonna introduce the leader me. And understand the importance of the leadership skills, overview of the 7 habits, share ideas for modeling the 7 habits at home. This part here, we might get to this or not. I want to keep it about 30 minutes. I don't want to go too crazy. You guys have other things to do. This is a Leader in Me book. This is the book that and I'm going to have one of these. Hopefully, I got to get them ordered, but next time we meet. We'll hand one of these out to everyone if you don't already have one. This is Stephen R. Covey, who's the founder of Franklin Covey, and we'll watch a video of a school back east that kind of started this whole Leader in Me process. It wasn't a Franklin Covey, they didn't start this. A school back east went to a conference, saw the 7 habits of highly effective people, and said, could we do this for kids? And the lady took it and kind of developed it herself, shared it with Franklin Covey that she was doing this, and then Franklin Covey's like, all right, let's spread this to the world. So we'll get you one of those books. And the Leader Me, the book itself, it just talks about how A.B. Combs was the school that it started at, back east, South Carolina or North Carolina or somewhere back there. And it just talks about their process, the way it works within the classroom, the way it works in the school. It's just how it's changed the whole life of the school and the community. So, in a process designed to help students develop leadership skills in their students. Help students discover the unique strengths, give all students an opportunity to shine, to become leaders. Help infuse the language of the 7 habits in all the curriculum. So that's kind of the purpose, the overall view of the Leader Me, the 7 habits, is to give these skills and tools to the students. 21st century skills. Have anyone heard that before? You have? You've heard that? Where have you heard that at? At school. Yeah. Okay. So, this is there was a study done where they asked all of the big Fortune 500 companies, billionaires, of things that they would want kids coming out of school to have. And so these are the kind of things that they said, right? Creativity, critical thinking, communication, flexibility, initiative, social, productivity, leadership, responsibility. Those are the things that they're like, this is what I want. When I hire someone, this is what I want them to have. Well, the 7 habits teaches those skills. And this is our first year of implementation. I know they were dabbling in it before I got here, just kind of using the language and having some little reward systems in place that just talked about the 7 habits. But we're now fully implementing. And you want this PowerPoint? If you give me your email, I can email it to you. Is that cool? That way you're not going to have to take it. I do the same thing. I'm like, click, 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 click. because I want those slides, so I'll send it to you, is a give you your email, I'll give it to you. So we talked about this a little bit. This is kind of what they wanted, right? Parents and business leaders wanted this. This is what they wanted, right? And we're going to get into this a little bit, the independent, interdependent, and renewal. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. This 21st century skills, right? So here they are. And this is what the parents and the business leaders wanted. And this is how they align with the 7 habits, okay? Those same skills. We're going to go over these 7 habits in a minute. So let's watch a little video. Developing your, I'm sorry. Yeah, hold on a minute, sorry. Okay. There it is, okay.
Hi, my name is Walter. I'm a leader at A.B. Collins Elementary in Raleigh, North Carolina. Welcome to a school where everyone's empowered to be a leader.
Hi, I'm Ava.
And I'm Joseph.
Hi, my name is Ching Ching.
Hi, my name is Mohammed.
Hello, my name is Catherine. Hi, I'm Greta.
And I'm Neil.
Welcome to our school!
You may pass by our school and think we are just an ordinary school. The building itself is about 50 years old.
But the moment you come inside, there's a whole new feeling.
We are a magnet school, and in 1999 we weren't attracting very many students. We had at that time around 350. And our superintendent said that we needed to reinvent ourselves. We needed to come up with a thing that was like none other. We went to our key stakeholders, our business leaders, parents, community leaders, and we said, what is it that you want for this community?
Whether it was the parents or the business leaders, they all wanted students who were responsible, could get along well with others, and deal with the challenges that life brought them.
Parents wanted their child to grow up to be caring, responsible, compassionate. They wanted their children to give back to others. They wanted them to understand a very strong work ethic.
Our stakeholders, when creating this school, talked about having children and grandchildren that were A students mastering the SAT, and then were not successful in college because they didn't know how to work with students, they didn't know how to prioritize, they were only about the academics.
When I heard all of those characteristics of what parents were looking for, I knew at that moment that schools had to do things differently. That when we're only focused on the academic piece, and absolutely that is important, but there's so much more than that. We captured their thoughts and ideas in a theme, and that theme screamed leadership to us.
The theme of our school is leadership. Our mission is to develop leaders one child at a time. Our mission keeps us focused on what's most important.
At our school, you can be a leader in anything you want.
I am a leader in art. I'm a leader in music.
I'm a leader in helping others.
I'm a leader in sports.
I'm a leader in technology.
We are all leaders. At our school, leadership is doing the right thing, even when no one is watching.
We are developing 21st century citizens. We're giving them a skill set, one that is based on leadership development, doing the right thing. We're giving the children a set of skills that will take them through the rest of their lives.
We're not trying to create CEOs of companies. We're trying to help students figure out what they are interested in and how to be the best in that area.
From the time we enter kindergarten until the time we graduate, we are told we are leaders because we all have gifts.
We believe very strongly that all students possess unique gifts and talents, and it's our responsibility as educators to find out what those talents are and to nurture and develop the children's gifts.
I see each child as having something special about them that nobody else has, and it's my job to help them to discover that gift. And I might be the only person in their life that sees that gift in them, and it's my responsibility to show it to them.
So do you guys think that's something that's important? What do you guys think? Any comments or input on what you saw?
pretty cool. Why not, you know? Why not think about more than just teaching them how to do good on tests? Why not? Teach them how to be good people. And it's, I mean, we often say that it's the parent's responsibility to teach a kid how to be a good person or whatever, but they're going to learn a ton at school, and some kids don't have a good home life, so that if they can learn stuff like this at school, how much better they're going to be.
Yeah. Our district's mission is to educate the whole child. That's what our mission is, the district, Weaver School District's mission. And it fits perfectly with that piece, educating the whole child. You're not just, we want a good act. We want the kid to be able to come out of this school and go on to junior high and know his stuff or her stuff. We want that. But when you get into the big world, when you've got a job, how much of college, of high school, of that kind of stuff do you actually use? Depending on your job, right? It might be a lot, but for the majority, like I never use algebra. I never, ever have I used algebra in my job ever. Ever. Because that's not what I use, right? I work with kids. I might teach very basic algebra in 5th or 6th grade, but I don't graph lines. I don't do that. You know, it's just not important to me, right? But these skills are how we communicate with people, how you be able to get through a day at work, right? Any other comments?
Well, I was thinking too that, you know, this focuses on what the children's strengths are. It gives them confidence in where their strengths lie, and that helps with everything else. And our oldest son, when he first came here, they were doing the principal awards by academics only. And, you know, he's a smart kid, but he's never going to be the top in his class. Right? And so it was discouraging to him. And then when they started rewarding based on the leader in me, he started being recognized and being rewarded for that and having awards, and that helped him in his academics as well. He gained confidence. So I appreciate the program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a process. This isn't a program. This isn't something you follow verbatim like a math program. You add, you subtract, you multiply, you divide. It's not the same. It's a process. And we talk about it with our faculty. We talk about go slow to go fast. We don't want to rush this in the school and try to do things before the kids are ready, before the teachers are ready. So we take our time. This is going to be a process. This might take 3, 4, 5 years to really get these kids to understand, starting from kindergarten all the way up through 6th grade, what the 7 habits are and how we can be a good leader, right? And I know that sometimes people think, that's a really long time. What about the kids that are in 6th grade right now? We're trying our best with what we have right now, right? So I just wanted to show you. The next one talks about, let's see, where is it? This one right here. Where is it? Come on now, Matt. Oh, click here. You gotta say click to you. Sorry. So, this is the map of the world, right? Every little red little arrow pin is a leader in each school. Every blue pin is a lighthouse school. So you can see that there's this many schools, 3,972 schools that are leader in these schools. Okay, now there's 4,370 schools that are in the process of some, like starting or whatever, okay? So we are one of the 3,972 schools where we're an actual leader in school. And then you have 418 that are Lighthouse. And Lighthouse is like the pinnacle of the achievement of leader in school. It's embedded, it's embraced, it's community, it's school, it's the whole piece all in one. And so that's our goal as Roy Elementary, is to eventually get to that point where it's totally ingrained in our system, which will then allow us to have that, notoriety or whatever it is, right? Any other comments or anything? No? I'm not good at PowerPoint. We'll skip this next move, this little video. So we talked about the 7 habits, okay, the 7 habits of highly effective people. This was Stephen R. Covey's. So the principle that you saw, the older lady in their first movie you saw was the principle that started Leader in Me at A.B. Combs, okay, in North Carolina. And then it was all based from this portion of the 7 habits, okay? So this is the 7 habits tree. We have the similar tree out in our entry when you come in, right? You walk in, right, when you turn on your left, there's that tree. It's a little different. It's unique to us, okay? We had a local artist come in and paint that for us. So we're going to go through the different habits, starting with the first habit, be proactive. Be proactive, be within mind, and put first things first. We're going to talk about these, and it says here starts with you. Okay? Does anyone see maybe why it's compared to something below the ground, the roots, and these 3 habits? Why do you think there's a comparison there?
No matter what you do, they don't involve anybody else. They're just personal. This is the way I do it.
Internal, right? You. The stuff that doesn't show, right? The roots underneath the ground that don't show, right? The tree. Yeah, that's why they use this tree, is because all the first 3 is a personal victory. It's the things that you do every day to be able to do the next one, the public victory, which are these things that you see, right? These are all the things that you see, the outward, your personality, your communication skills, your flaws, right? All the things that are out there for everyone to see. Okay? And then the 7th habit, which is sharpen the saw, this one is not one that you graduate to eventually. The 7th habit encircles all of them, because it says balance is best. Renewal of the 4: body, mind, soul, and spirit. Okay, those that you renew those things daily, weekly, however, to be able to then function in the other 6 habits. And then there is an 8th habit, which is find your voice, which we'll get to that probably not in the near future in these conversations, because it's just how. So let's move on and talk about the first 3. So these are the things. Be proactive. You're in charge. Okay? And in the flyer that I handed out, it goes through the 7 habits and the parent night one. A little bit less detailed, and the parent guide is more detailed. But be proactive. You're in charge. So you're the one that makes the choices. You're the one that processes the information. You're the one that reacts to, or in a good way or a bad way, to situations. You have in mind, have a plan. So goal setting. What begin with that end. So whatever my end outcome wants to be, you need to make goals to get there, right? If I want to be able to lift 100 pounds, I'm not going to be able to start with 100 pounds. I'm going to have to start with less weight, 20 pounds, work my way up to 100 pounds. Okay, but I have to have an end goal. But first things first, work first, then play. Do the important things first, okay? For kids, what is that? Might be homework, right? Do your homework first when you get home, rather than go play video games or go play with your friends, right? They want to go play with their friends first, and then when it's time to turn in an assignment, they're like, dang it, I forgot. Oh, well, if you would have put it first, we'd have been ready, right? Who's ever stayed up late at night and did a science fair project with their kid that was due the next day? That was me, right?
I did that.
Right? I mean, that was me too. I mean, both of my dang kids, right? I mean, it's like, oh, Dad, it's due tomorrow, and I'm like, no, okay, let's get something together, and we stay up really late and do all this work. Then you get it turned in, and and we do most of the work, and the kid's like, I'm tired. Come on, we gotta get this done, right? So kind of just So then the next 3 is the public victory, the things that you do well with others. Think and win, and everyone can win. That's a hard one, right? That's a hard one to say, well, how can we all win? Because a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this, dealing with kids maybe that are having a hard time. It's a win-lose. I'm going to win, that kid's going to lose. Because he's doing something he shouldn't. I'm not going to give him the time to process it. No, you're hitting that kid. We're done. I'm winning, you're losing, right? Or a lose-lose, right? We both lose. Kids are out in the playground, there's a disagreement, turns into a fight, hitting each other, right? They both lose, okay? So we want to teach them what a win-win can be. How can everyone win? You're playing a game, someone doesn't want to play the game that you're playing, well, there's got to be a way to all work it out, okay? Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Listen before you talk. This can be a hard one too. I learned this when I first started, when I was in Southern Utah. I was working as an assistant principal down there. Actually, Title I site coordinator. Mike's my Title I site coordinator. So I was a Title I coordinator, and a parent would come in, they were fired up because something happened at school, and I would get fired up right back. I'm like, you don't come into my office and talk to me that way. I learned a really quick lesson that my principal taught me. She said, Brent, it's not personal to you. Don't make it personal to you. Listen to them. Figure out what the problem is. Help them understand, or have them help you understand how to help the situation. And so as I implemented that, I was able to communicate with people. I was able to listen. Because a lot of times parents just want to get it off their chest. They're just frustrated. They just want to tell you their frustration. And then work together to make a win-win to make it work out. And then synergize together is better. So the old adage, two heads are better than one, right? Similar type thing. And then the seventh habit, sharpen the saw, balance feels best. We need to recharge ourselves. Okay? Have you ever been at work, or mom's being home with kids, and you're just burnt out? Like, you are just burnt. You can't go another day. And you think back, and you're thinking, wait a minute, I haven't taken any time for myself. Like, I'm hammered, I'm working for the kids, and breakfast, lunch, dinner, clothes, clean, whatever, right? Dads are going, whatever it is, working, and you never take time for yourself to say, I need a break. I need to go to a movie. I need to go for a run. I need to do whatever it is, right? Go do some yoga, whatever it is. I need time for me. Read a book, right? Do something that renews that self. Is this the one? Can't remember if this is the one. Oh, no, not that one. Next one. Keep it on. You're good. Keep it off.
Okay.
This one, I think. Yep, this is it.
Be proactive. Don't be reactive. Make choices and think through the consequences.
Being proactive means taking initiative, which means doing what you know is right.
It means that you're being caring and considering others and taking responsibility of yourself.
Be proactive every day. Be proactive, stop and think.
I do my homework first before my mother tells me to do my homework.
You don't yell and you don't get all mad. Well, it means to choose your own weather or carry your own weather, like how you're going to act that day. Oh, I'm going to be moody all day, or I'm going to be happy. I choose to be happy. Begin with the end in mind. Know what you want and how you are going to achieve it.
Begin with the end in mind means that you should plan what you're going to do before you do it.
Like if you were to say something to someone, begin with the end in mind. Think how they would feel before you said it. Begin with the end in mind means that you plan ahead. Setting targets is very true. Setting targets, setting targets, setting targets is good for you. It means to set goals and work towards them. Put first things first. Prioritize what you need accomplished. Work before you play. When I get home immediately, I do my homework, and then I can play all the fun things that I want. So if you had a big project to do, you need to get it done, and you don't need to dilly-dally.
If I want to play video games, but I have 2 pages of math homework, well then putting first things first, if I was using that, I would do my math homework first.
Do the big important things first and the small, little important things after.
Say you put your
Kindergartner, right?
sock on
Right.
your
Seriously?
shoe, that'd be okay. But if you put your shoe on first and then your sock on, your shoe would have a sock over it. Win-win. We can both do what we want and neither of us have to lose. It means that you're thinking of others too instead of just this person wins or just this person wins. It's like everybody can win. Everybody has a part.
To share things and let other people play.
You and your partner try to make both sides win.
How can we both be happy?
I see kids all the time having arguments at school, and they usually solve it by the think-win-win habit.
People don't think, oh, I'm such a loser, I'm not good at this, and people don't say, oh, I'm going to beat them. People say, oh, we're all great, we're all in this together, we're going to do fine.
Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Listen with your head and heart before you speak.
If the other person is like talking, you first you listen, then after he finishes talking, then you can share your ideas.
Sometimes you want to say something to somebody else, like really making it seem like theirs is wrong, or that your opinion is better, or that you don't think that what they're saying is right or something. It's just really hard sometimes, but you have to be a leader and really hold that back and listen to them and understand them, and then you can tell them.
I use it listening to my mom whenever she tells me to do things, and I always have to listen so I know what to do.
We were at a soccer game, me and my mom, and there's a mosquito on her back, and I slapped her back. And she's like, what'd you do that for? I'm like, there's a mosquito on your back. She's like, I won't fall for that trick. And then I pulled the mosquito off, and I'm like, mosquito? She's like, okay. And then I thought to myself, she needed to understand why I slapped her on the back before she made her assumption.
Synergize. Together we can always accomplish more.
It means that everyone works together and they get great ideas to help get things finished, like your work, and you have better ideas and you'll get it done a lot faster. Work together for best results.
The reason I like Synergize is because it's all working together and you can make so many new friends by doing it, and you can just work so hard together.
I like to work in groups, and if there's a problem, I can help my friends.
When you're playing tag, it's no fun just playing tag with one person by yourself. Because tag, you're by yourself isn't fun.
Set from the start. Live a balanced life.
Habit 7 is all about keeping your personal skills sharp so that you can better deal with life.
It means after you've done all the habits, you take time to do something that you really like to do. Sharpen the saw is my favorite habit because you get to give your brain a rest.
It means like when you're tired, you just came back from a hard work a day, then you can just have fun, relax.
My favorite way to sharpen the saw is reading. My favorite thing to do is cheer. Running and exercising. My favorite way to sharpen the saw is to play games with my family. My favorite thing to do is eat birthday cake. We have the 7 habits.
Whatever sharpens your
I
saw,
want
man.
to find the after video for that other kid, like 10 years later. Here's where he is. He's ruling the world or something.
Right?
He's a, oh my
Tag,
god.
you're it. It doesn't
He's
work.
got it going on. He knows what he's
Hilarious, right? But you know, so. But the crazy thing is those are the kids' own words, right? It's not. I mean, yeah, they practice it. They come up with what they want to say, but it's not a teacher or a parent or something directing the kid what to say. Say this because this will be good. It's real, and the kids know the habits. They know how to resolve these issues because of these, right? That's the cool thing. When I was in Southern Utah, we were a Leader Me school. We were a lighthouse school down there as well. And so when I came here, I was so excited that they had already started the 7 habits here. because I was just like, I'd seen it go through the whole process, start to finish, and how it had changed a school. I dealt with behavior. That was my job. That's similar. He helped with any type of issues, behavior, Title I, paperwork, all that stuff. But our school was really high impacted. I dealt with a lot of behavior. And so from the first year to the second year, the behavior decreased by 80%. So the first year of my day was just dealing with kids, little things, little fighting, little arguing, little this, little that, being disrespectful, whatever. And in the second year, I was twiddling my thumbs. I was like, wait, what's going on here? I don't have anything to do. Like, what am I going to do now? No kids are being really that bad. Yeah, we still had our few. I was like, wow, what's going on? And so I had to start being proactive instead of reactive. I said, well, I'm going to go and start following up with these kids that maybe some frequent flyers, some kids that maybe need a little bit of support, a little bit of love. I'm going to go follow up with them during the day and help it so that they don't get to that point where they escalate to a problem. And so in my third year, I was going, holy crap, this is amazing. So now I'm working with the teachers. I'm working with some coaching, a little bit of PLC stuff, and it was amazing to see the difference. Okay, so the be proactive is the first habit we talked about. You listen to the kids. I am a responsible person. I take initiative. I choose my actions, attitudes, and moods. Does anyone feel like they are brave enough to share a time where they could have used one of these be proactive in the last week?
Like where you could have used it?
Yeah, like where you reacted to something.
I can
where
tell you
your
today.
mood, your actions, your attitudes, where you're like.
Today I should have been proactive with my kids. I went home and I reacted instead of I was reactive, and I got after them because they were cleaning up as fast as I thought I should let them.
And what's the turnaround for that? What could we have done differently, right? What could you have done instead of going in there and being reactive? What could you have done
I could have
to
stepped
change
back,
your mood?
did my breathing stuff that I know I can do, and been like, okay, let's think about it from their perspective.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's kind of taking a step back, right? Looking at things.
Yep.
Okay. And I guarantee you, every single one of us has had one of these happen, probably today, but at least in a week, you've had something where you could have been a little bit more proactive, taken a little bit different action, you've changed your attitude, okay? Okay, if you have it in mind, plan ahead, make goals. Oh man, I'm bad at this. I try hard to schedule things, I try to make sure that I know what's going on, but then the day kind of just takes over, okay? But also part of this is also creating a mission. Do any of you have a personal mission statement? I didn't either until I started the 7 Habits. Okay. Okay. So we need to have a purpose, right? A purpose for what we do and why we do it. I think we all probably could verbalize that to someone. If someone says, "What's your purpose? Why do you do what you do?" You probably could come up with something, right? Heartfelt, deep inside, you probably could come up with something. But do we have it written down? Do we look back at that mission when things are going crappy? Do you look back and say, whoa, what's my direction? Where should I be headed? Look back at that mission statement, okay? And the kids, we do that with kids. We create mission statements. That was last year, or 2 years ago, with the principal prior to me, they started to create a school mission statement, and it's changed. It's moved since I've been here, and now we kind of have a pretty solid mission statement. But who knows? It could change. But the mission is for us to help kids be able to have a high academic success, plus teach them leadership skills. That's our new mission, right? So that's something to think about. But first things first, spend my time on things that are important. Things that are important to you, your priorities, right? Your family, your own priorities. How many of you live outside of your own priorities? Someone comes up to you, I really need your help. Can you please come and help me? I'm struggling. Can you? And you're like, sure. And you drop what's going on in your life, and you go over and you help that person. Okay, you've done it before, right? It's happened, right? But sometimes people live in that all the time, where people are wanting help and they're just like, yeah, I'll help you. Oh, no problem, I'll help you, I'll help you, I'll help you. And they never really get the things they need done because they're always helping. So we talk about that with kids. What was that? You laughing?
PTA.
And that's a priority. That was something that was chosen. Okay?
You're stuck.
This means I say no to things I know I should not do. How often do you say yes to something when you know you should have said no? I do that all the time. Okay? I set priorities. I make a schedule. I follow my plan and discipline. That's a hard one. So Stephen Covey, the one that did the 7 Habits for Effective People, people would ask him, hey, you should be perfect at these things, right? You're amazing. You should be just perfect at all these habits. And he goes, no, I'm not perfect. I work on every habit every day. But because he's working on them, he's probably better at some things than other people. I balance courage for getting what I want with consideration what others want. Okay? That can be hard sometimes, especially in a dog-eat-dog world, right? Survival of the fittest kind of a thing, right? That's kind of the way the world is. You've got to be the one get the head up if you want to succeed in life, right? Get the promotion or whatever. But it's amazing. So my wife is amazing. She's married to me. She puts up with me, so that's amazing. No, it's ouch. My wife thinks
She must
probably,
be amazing.
but things you don't know is that she was an Olympian. She ran track at BYU for years, then she went professional and she ran in the 2004 Olympics in Athens. And in sports, it's very much that. You don't talk, you don't share ideas, you don't help that person do any better, because if they do, they might beat you, right? She wasn't like that. If someone asked her a question, hey, what do you think? She would say, yeah, try this. And that's not typical. You don't do that, because they might beat you. You might give them a little tweak of something, and they might throw farther than you, or jump farther than you, or run faster than you, because you said, try this. Okay, that could be a hard thing, right? But what really matters in the world? Being a winner, or being a person that helps and is kind and looks out for everyone, right? I listen to other people's ideas and feelings. I try to see things from their viewpoint. It's a paradigm. And in our next sessions, we're going to get into some of these deeper sessions about what a paradigm is. A paradigm is what you see, your perspective of the world, right? If I had some magic glasses I could take off and I could give to you, and you would see what I see, and from my perspective, you can see my paradigm, okay? But you don't have that. You don't have a pair of glasses that you can put on and say, oh yeah, that, whoa, you're dealing with that. There's a video on the website that you can go to. It talks about it. There's a guy he's going through life and everything is just mad. If someone cuts him off, he's like, oh man, okay, watch where you're going. He gets into the coffee shop and there's a big long line. He's like, oh brother. And he gets up there and someone steps in front of him. Hey, can you give me this? Oh, sure, ahead. Go right ahead. And he passes by this little mom with a baby and everything, and he's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Well, then someone hands him a pair of magical glasses, and he puts these glasses on, and now he can see what the people are thinking. And he's looking at these people, and one person says, I just got a divorce, or whatever, right? Or one person, I'm having a really rough day, and I've contemplated suicide, or whatever, right? They're seeing all the thoughts that happen. And so we have to shift our paradigm to try to understand where people are coming from, so that we can then show some empathy. My gosh, time goes by so fast. Stephen Covey was on a train in somewhere in New York or somewhere, and he gets on the train, and he's sitting there, people are just relaxing, they're on the way home, they're reading papers and everything, relaxing, and this guy gets on with a bunch of kids. And the guy just kind of sits down, these kids are running amok. Like they're running up and down the train, just causing grief, pulling papers out of people's hands, just causing problems. And people on the train are going, what in the world is going on? Why isn't the dad doing something? Like, what's going on? And Stephen Covey says to the man, he's sitting right next to me, he says, "Dude, your kids are going a little bit crazy here. Aren't you going to take care of them? Aren't you going to do something?" And the dad goes, yeah, I see that could be a problem. You know, we just came from the hospital where their mother just died. And they don't know how to deal with it. And I don't know if I know how to deal with it. And so then his paradigm, Stephen Covey's paradigm, shifted immediately with empathy and sadness for this family, right? But because we don't listen and try to figure out what's going on, we just jump to it, want to fix it. Have you ever seen the Just About the Nail video? Lady has a nail sticking out of her forehead, and the husband or whatever is trying to tell her, and she's like, "Oh, my head, it's just painful, and you know, and it hurts." And the dude's like, "Dude, there's a nail in your head. It's not about the nail." And she's, you know, and he's trying to fix it, right? But all you need to do is just listen to her. Right? Yeah. I'm gonna pause the ball and get home later.
My husband will be here next week.
I value other people's strengths and learn from them. So synergizing. I get along well with others, even people who are different than me. I work well in groups. I seek out other people's ideas because I know that by teaming with others, we can create a better solution. There's always a third alternative, right? There's my point of view, there's your point of view, and then there's a better point of view, right? Which takes both of your points of views and puts them to one, right? And then sharpen the saw, we talked about that. We got the body, the brain, the heart, and the soul. If one of those is out of balance, have you ever heard of Maslow hierarchy of needs? Similar type thing. Body, which is roof over your head, food, sleep, those things. Brain, heart, and soul. Those are the same type of things. If one of those, if a kid comes to school and they didn't get enough sleep one night, played video games or something, they come to school, they're tired. The teacher's going to say, "Hey, try this." They're not going to want to do it because they're tired. Or if they didn't get food, they had to rush out of the house to get breakfast. Well, then they're not going to be focused, right? Is communicating a person's worth and potential so clearly that they're inspired to see it in themselves. And that's what we're trying to do with the 7 habits. We're trying to, that's our vision, that's our mission in the school, is to teach them all these things, plus academics, so that they can be a leader. So, thank you for coming. The next one that we have is going to dive into some of these 7 habits a little deeper. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about paradigms. We're going to talk a little bit about working together, synergizing. So, if you can come again next time, come. We can talk a little bit more, talk with your friends about it. Just because they didn't see the first one doesn't mean that they can't come and still learn about what the 7 habits are and what we are trying to do here at Roy Elementary. It was amazing today, was the first day that I turned the microphone over to 4 kids to do the assembly at the end of the day. It was cool. It was so cool, right? I mean, we had been doing it all year, we're like, all right, it's the kids' turn. We took them in today, or yesterday, Mike and I, and we talked to them about it. We said, this is how you do it. This is what you do. This is how you pass it around. This is, we talked about it. We trained the kids so they know. And then it's like, okay. And I stood back. Everyone stood, all the adults were back out of the way. Kids were talking, giving the cheers. The 3rd grade was singing. Kids released the other kids out of the doors to go home. And it was cool, right? It's something so small, but those 4 kids, I guarantee you, they felt amazing at the end of after everything was done.
I loved how they took the initiative and leadership where they were like, 6th grade, don't do whatever, at the end, because 6th grade was like pushing each other around.
Well, we had talked about that. See that? So we try to train them in every little thing, right? So that they know what's going on.
It was awesome.
It's cool, right?
It was really cool.
So, okay. Any questions, comments? Anything? Nothing? Out of the park? Sweet. Well, I got the clap.
There you go, listen.
Okay, so It's, the next one will be the fourth Friday, the 22nd of March. And then the next month in April, it'll be the fourth Friday. It's like the 26th or something. I tried to do it all on 22nd because I thought it'd be cool. 22nd of every month, but then it turned out that April 22nd didn't come on a Friday.
Sorry, that's
Dang,
my
April.
birthday.
We're not gonna have it in May because the fourth Thursday is the last day of school. So we won't do it on that day. But so next year I'm gonna try to do these more often too next year, just to get people, talk about it, get ideas flowing. Yeah, okay, thanks guys. Cool.